question. Okay, Maureen, and then Phil. Okay.
So it's a little bit more concrete. As we all know, we're going through this election right now. If you take a look at the platforms of all the major parties, you'll see that they're all competing to do more for people using other people's money. I would say that that's because, obviously, politicians get elected when they say and do things that people want. What people seem to want now is government to solve all of their problems. So I guess the question is, and this comes, Walter talked a little bit about this, when we talked about agreement. You have a huge number of people agreeing that government is the solution to all problems. What do we do concretely to try to ensure that we're not forced to pay so that other people can have their problems solved? I think we need to, all this theoretical discussion is really nice, but I think that if the Libertarian Party ever really wants to get its principles and agenda put forward more, you need to be a little bit more concrete in how do we actually address some of these really very serious problems that ultimately, I think, will lead to a decline in our standards of living here in this country.
So your question is, how do we address the issue of everybody wanting something from the state? Is that
yeah, so basically we're saying, well, we can't force people to agree that the government is not the solution to all problems. We can't force people to not force us to have to pay for all of it. So how do we prevent people from forcing us to follow their agenda when it seems that so many people agree that the government is the solution to all problems?
It seems to me, it's probably not going to answer your question completely, but then I will just speak 2 minutes so the others can complete my answer. It seems to me that what we have to persuade people is that if they want their own rights to be respected, they have to respect other people's rights. And that's how you build a free society where lots of people do things that other people don't like, in return for which they can do things that other people's don't like.
The problem with that is the proliferation of phony rights. If you have the right to housing, if people believe that they have the right to housing, and you tell them, well, we have to respect everybody's rights.
No.
Well, we all have the right to housing.
Rights. If just a short one. I think that rights have to be consistent, of course.
Please, here is an ideal place in which to interject the incredible importance of the basic distinction that libertarianism is built on between positive and negative rights. When somebody says, I have a right to X, it can mean 2 completely different things. Of course, everybody has a right to housing in the sense that nobody can take and burn down anybody else's house. But that doesn't imply that everybody has the duty to give him a house if he doesn't have one. That would be the positive version of the right, and we don't all agree on that, to put it mildly. We do agree on the other one, right?
My comment on this is, the question is, well, this theoretical discussion is all well and good, but how about us getting down in the trenches and be practical? Well, this weekend is organized on 3 different panels. This first one is on philosophy. So of course we're going to talk about philosophy. But the third one is practical, pragmatic libertarianism. Namely, how do we answer that question? So what you're really doing is asking a question that belongs in the third panel, and you're asking it now, and you're expressing dissatisfaction with the philosophy. I remember when I was a young kid just starting out, there were 2 gurus of the libertarian movement in New York City. One was Carl Hess, the other was Murray Rothbard. Murray Rothbard set up this seminar, sort of like this, philosophical seminar, and it took months of preparation. It took a lot of money to set it up, and Paul, I'm sure, would go along with me on this. It takes a lot of effort to set up a thing like this, to get people from all over the country to come here to get an audience. During that time, the lefty hippies were attacking Fort Dix. Fort Dix was the thing that, and what Carl Hess did is he got half the audience to go with him to Fort Dix and protest with the hippies and get gassed and all that. Now, I'm not against protesting against Fort Dix, but Carl's view was that this is all crap, this philosophy talk, nonsense. Let's go out and show that we're in favor of liberty, and let's go off the pig or something at Fort Dix. Murray's view was, look, philosophical discussion is very important. We have to know where we're coming from if we're going to promote liberty. We have to promote scholarship. Look, there are only two ways to stop those bad guys from engaging in positive rights, welfare rights, housing rights. One is to shoot them all. And the pragmatic problem with that is that they're more than us. And the second way is to convince them. Well, if you're going to convince them, then you're going to go and become a professor of philosophy or of economics or law, or you're going to be a journalist, or you're going to do something intellectual. Well, that's, I think, what we libertarians are all about. We're not picking up any guns here. We're trying to promote liberty by convincing people. And the only way you can convince people is through academic, intellectual, journalistic kinds of things.